Hi everybody, I am Jyothsna, lecturer in commerce at TTWRDC, Devarkonda. Today my topic is classification of cost. Before that, we have to know what is the meaning of cost. Cost means total expenses incurred on production process. That is the cost. Why we are knowing the cost in the production department? When we have the total cost, we have to fix the selling price. We have the total cost and fix the selling price, then we will get the profit. That's why we have to calculate the total cost. In the total cost, we have to classify in different basis on different activities. That means classification of cost according to the nature and functions, and according to the identifiable, according to the behavior. Whatever may be, there are some important classification of the cost. We have the another one is there. So first one according to nature. First one material, second labor, third other expenses. In the material cost is the very important in the production process. That means without material we can't produce any single product. So when material require the organization, what material required, that should be purchased from the outsider or supplier. So organization paying the some amount to the supplier. So the what amount paying by the organization, that is the cost of the material. This cost of the material is divided into two types. First one direct material cost and second one indirect material cost. Direct material cost is the directly material is identifiable with the final product. That means we can see that material in the final product or finished goods directly. That is the direct material. What amount we are spending that direct material, we can call direct material cost. And next one indirect material. Indirect material is the opposite of the direct material. That means the material we can't identify with the final product. That is indirect material. What amount we are spending the indirect material is called indirect material cost. Now second one is labor. Labor cost. Second, generally in the total cost we have the three types of elements. What are that? First one material, second one labor, and third one expenses. These three elements are very important to calculating the total cost. When we have adding the three elements of cost, then we will get the total cost. So in the labor cost is the very important and essential element to the production process. That's why without labor we can't produce anything. Why? Labor means human beings. When we have the factory, when we have the production process, there is no human being, there is no work. So when labors involve physically and mentally worked with the production process with help of the machines. So that is the what amount we are spending. Our organization spending the some amount to the labor. That is the labor cost. We are paying the labors. How much cost to the labor? That is the calculating on the basis of direct labor cost and indirect labor cost. Direct labor cost means who are the labors directly involved in the production process. That labors called direct labor. For example, raw material convert into the finished goods. In this raw material convert into the finished goods, the labors who are the directly convert from the raw material to production output, then the cost is called direct labor cost. And next, indirect labor cost. Indirect labor cost is the opposite of the direct labor cost. That means the labor not involved in the production process, but organization paying that labors also. So that cost is called indirect labor cost. And the next, other expenses. Other expenses means other expenses, they are not they are spending the some amount out of the material and labor is called expenses. Similar to material and labor, we have to classify in the direct and indirect expenses is there. That's why according to the nature, cost can be classified in three types, that is material cost, labor cost, other expenses. Next we go for the, on the basis of function, we have to classify the cost: production cost, selling cost, administrative cost, research and development cost. On the basis of function, production cost. Organization, every organization have the different departments generally. The production department have their own activities, and selling department have the selling or marketing department have their own activities. So administration department have their own activities. Research and development department have their own activities. But what activities is there? They have the spending some portion of the amount to that particular department. That means production cost. Production, in the production department we require the production cost. That means in the production process, raw material convert into finished goods. That time they are paying the some amount. For example, material cost, labor cost, other expenses, including the in this production department. So what are the expenses incurred in the production department? The total of the expenses is called production cost. And the next, selling cost. When we have the final product that should be reached to the customer. How to reach the customer? We have to attract the customer. We have so many techniques to attract the customer, and the sales promotions, and the next transport facilities and advertisement, whatever may be the product pushed to the customers, we require some expenses. Thus that expenses called selling expense. The total of the type of expenses is called selling cost. That means selling department paying the, marketing department paying the incurred some expenses. That total expenses is called selling cost. And the next one, administrative cost. Administrative cost means in the organization, administration structure is there. Without maintenance of the organization, there is no operation of the active. There is no proper doing of the business. So we require the administrative structure. So in the administrative structure, we have the different types of the cost. We have the employees, different level of employees, hierarchy position is there. We are paying the different position level payment. So in that case, administration department required to maintenance of the organization. So we require in the administration department require the cost, paying some expenses. That is the administrative cost. And the next one, research and development cost. Every organization have to maintain the research and development department in nowadays. Why? Without modification of the product, without new updating technology, we can't doing increase of the profits. That means to attract the customer, to build our product into the market, we require some cost in the research and development. Without research and development, we can't modify, we can't update the product into the market. So that's why we have to maintain the research and development department. When we have the research and development department, then automatically we are paying that department. With the department have the some expenses. The type of expense is called research and development cost. And these all are the on the basis of functions we have to classify in production cost and selling cost, administrative cost, research and development cost. Next we go for the according to the identifiable cost. On the basis of the identifiable cost is two types, direct cost and indirect cost. Direct cost is the directly involved in the production cost, directly involved in the production process. Indirect cost is indirectly involved in the production process. That means what amount we are spending on the direct cost, what amount we are spending on the indirect cost is very important to control of the cost. Similarly, we are already discussing in the material, labor and other expenses. In the material, we have the direct material cost and indirect material cost. In the labor, direct labor cost, indirect labor cost. In the other expenses, we have the direct expenses cost, direct expenses and indirect expenses. Whatever may be, direct items is there, direct cost is there. The total of the direct cost is, we can call the direct cost. That is the example of the direct cost is milk in dairy products. That means direct cost is the very important to identify what cost in the production department. And next, indirect cost. Similarly, direct cost. That means it is the opposite to the direct cost. Similar to the direct cost, we have to identify the indirect material cost, indirect labor cost, indirect expenses. The total of these three elements we can call indirect cost. For example, fuel, oil, cotton waste. That is the indirect cost. These two types are the classification of the cost according to identifiable. This is the direct cost and indirect cost. Next, we go for the according to the behavior. It is the very important to identify the cost. According to the behavior, we have the three types of the cost is there. First one, fixed cost. Second one, variable cost. Third one, semi-variable cost. What is the fixed cost? What is the variable cost? What is the semi-variable cost is the very important to understanding level. First one, what is the fixed cost? Fixed cost is the fixed, not changeable, not variable. It is the constant cost. In the total cost, we have the total cost. In the total cost, we have the fixed cost is the not changed. For example, in this example, fixed cost is we have to assume 10,000 rupees is the fixed cost for producing 100 units. 10,000 is the fixed cost for producing 100 units. And next, I am producing the 120 units. The fixed cost is not changed to the different of the units produced. That means the fixed cost can't be changed according to the output level, according to the unit produced. That is the fixed cost. Whatever may be, we are producing the 100 units, we are producing the 110 units, we are producing the 120 units. That is the maximum limit. Some portion of the limit is there. According to that limit, the fixed cost is constant. But fixed cost per unit, it is the changeable. Fixed cost per unit is changeable. Fixed cost is constant, not changed, and variable cost is the changed. But in the fixed cost per unit also changed. Variable, it is the changed according to the producing value. And the next one, before that, next one, we have the examples. Some examples is the salaries and insurance for the fixed cost. A fixed cost is the fixed or constant, not changed according to the output produced, according to the increase of the units of the produced. But in the variable cost is the cost, in the total cost, it is the cost, it is the variable, it is the changeable according to the production units. When we are increasing the units, when we are increasing the output, that automatically increase the variable cost also. That's why variable cost is the depending upon increasing of the volume of the produced. In this same case, we have the example, that is the variable cost. First, we have the variable cost, 10,000 rupees for producing 100 units. Next, I am producing 120 units. The total variable cost also changing 12,000 rupees for producing of 120 units. That's why variable cost is changed according to the increasing of the units. When we are increasing the units, automatically variable cost also increase. But in the fixed cost, there is no increase of the total cost according to the increase of the units. But in the variable cost, we are increasing the units, number of units, then automatically increasing the total cost also, total variable cost. But in that total variable cost also, total variable cost is variable, but variable cost per unit is fixed, not changed. Variable cost per unit is fixed. That means when we are producing whatever may be, that per unit value, variable per unit value is constant. That is the opposite of the fixed variable cost. You have to identify what is the fixed cost and what is the variable cost, what is the fixed per unit, what is the variable per unit. It is the very important to understanding level. And next, another one is, last one is semi variable cost and or semi fixed cost. Whatever may be, semi means half portion is variable, half portion is fixed. That it means we have the both combination of the fixed cost and variable cost, that we can call semi variable cost or semi fixed cost. That means in this semi variable cost, we have the some portion fixed, some portion variables. Some level of the production, that amount is fixed, then automatically the level is increased, the cost is also increased. That means we have the two qualities of the fixed cost and variable cost, that is the semi variable cost, semi fixed cost. Example, electricity bill. Electricity bill, some portion of the units we are consuming, that is the fixed. After that, that is automatically increase the according of the uses of the current. Okay, that is the very important. According to the behavior, we have to classify in the fixed cost, variable cost, semi variable cost. It is the some of the important classification of the cost. Once again, we have the oral conclusion. First one is classification of cost according to nature and function. Nature, material cost, on the basis of nature, material cost, labor cost, other expenses. Again, material cost, direct material cost and indirect material cost. And labor, direct labor cost, indirect labor cost, other expenses. It is also same, similarly direct expenses and indirect expenses. We go further on the basis of function. We have the different department is there. So on that basis, they are doing the different functions. On that basis, production costs and selling costs and administrative costs and research and development cost. And the next one, according to the identifiable. According to the identifiable, direct cost, on the example, milk and dairy products. Indirect cost, example, fuel, oil, cotton, waste. What is the direct cost? What is the indirect cost? The total of the material, labor, expenses of the direct cost. And the next indirect cost, the total of these three elements of the indirect cost. we can easily identify the direct cost and indirect cost. Next one, according to the behavior, we have to classify in the fixed cost, variable cost, semi-variable cost or semi-fixed cost. Example, electricity bill. These all are the very important classification of the cost. So I hope you are understanding well. Thank you.